team to have secured a win on the blue side so far, so we'll see what they can do.
Wow, and well, stands them in good stead here, I suppose we can say, on the red side this time around. Let's have a look at the bans then. Irelia, LeBlanc going to be banned out by the Copenhagen Wolves, so Kevin not going to get his hands on that, and Jack's the final ban for the Wolves, so they've left the Ziggs open here. We'll see if they try and maybe pick that up first of all, since they are blue side anyway. Whether they'll leave that open remains to be seen. Lulu, Twitch, and Kassadin, the 3 bans out here for Millenium side. Possible first pick Yasuo again for the Wolves.
Identical. This is an identical first pick yesterday. Copenhagen Wolves banned out Irelia, LeBlanc yesterday, and first pick Yasuo. They banned exactly the same here with the exception of changing their 3rd ban to Jax. CowTard is super confident on Yasuo, and I like the pick. The question is, do Copenhagen Wolves look to run the more knockups as well? You know, yesterday we seen a support Zyra from Unlimited. It was okay. He had a few decent knockups. They ran top lane Lulu. It's not possible this game because Lulu has been banned out by Millenium. So this leads me to think, predicted the Yasuo first pick, and Kerp may want to run either an assassin into that, maybe he wants to run Fizz, or he can just play the farming game and play something like the Ziggs like we've touched on. Either way, it's going to have a little bit of a difficult time against that wind wall, so we'll see how they prioritize going forward.
Interesting to see what happens on that one. However, Millenium securing Lucian here for Creaton, being a star player for them so far. Looks like the pre-broken hand Creaton from last year in the summer split, playing for alternate at the time, and right then he was absolutely amazing. He seems to have his hunger back for the game as well, which I think is a really important thing. Lee Sin was also picked up here for Kottenx. Interesting enough, chose to go for the Kazakhs when it was left open for them yesterday. A champion which has been nerfed somewhat, but still obviously feeling that it has its strong points, and can't argue, Kottenx has done fantastic on that champion. Lee Sin for him this time though. 3
games, 3 separate junglers for Kottenx. So he's run Evelyn, he's run Kazakhs, now he's running the Lee Sin. We'll see how he handles himself. Lee Sin's not doing particularly well most of the games. I think there's only been 1 win for him. That's a lie. It's actually 2 wins. I'm looking at it now. We'll see how Kottenx can put it together. That's the key. What it also does is it denies another potential knockup from Airwaks. So by locking that in, you prevent some additional synergy between the Yasuo. And you'll notice there's no other extra knockups on the side of the Copenhagen Wolves. We're going through thick and fast as far as the picks and bans are concerned, because the Evelyn and the Graves being locked in is already showing you've got burst damage from Yasuo, burst damage from Graves, a flank opportunity from Evelyn, as well as the early game control, but I'm not seeing a lot of help. So CowTard may be looking to put himself in a split pushing position, which is what Froggen likes to do when he plays Yasuo.
Well, that one on the other side, it looks like a possible Thresh pickup, and Shyvana here already locked in for Millenium side of things. So Shyvana for Kevin, another player who has really stepped things up, who's looked really fantastic so far from Millenium. We pointed him out as a key player before that. Jree also going to get Thresh, which he himself looked incredible on yesterday.
I agree, and in addition to the champions being locked in, it is also reducing knockups. Shyvana top lane, it's a bruiser champion that we have seen YoungBuck running in the past. It's one of his most played, 4 games during the spring split. You know, it's sitting up there, takes away the knockup. You've got Thresh as a support, also can apply the knockup to get Yasuo knocked. So with the denial, I really like the picks and bans from Millenium. Not only are they getting very strong champions that synergize well, you're going to have Shyvana, Lee Sin diving into a fight. If you have Thresh there, you can get picks. You've got a strong zone control for aggressive and defensive plays, and it's denying all of those tools from the Copenhagen Wolves. The only potential knockup is going to come from Trundle's Pillar. If Trundle gets a Pillar of Ice, that's the only teammate that can help out CowTard in getting a knockup. I do like the engage power of Leona and the disengage power of Trundle, but as I say, it's going to be all on CowTard to find those ever-important knockups.
On the other side for Millenium, their final pick went down to the mid lane, and it will be Ziggs here, so we'll see if not banning Ziggs is going to come back to haunt another team here, because we've seen how good Kerp is with this one. Picked up quadra kill yesterday, stole away that Baron at the last second with his ultimate as well. So definitely a dangerous factor, Kerp on Ziggs.
So when we look at the 2 compositions, I think both teams have got split pushing power. We actually seen a Yasuo versus Shyvana yesterday in the Alliance game, if memory serves correctly. That is right. And it was actually CowTard playing it against Wicked. And once he got the items, he could deal with Shyvana. He could get in his face, and Wicked just he built full tank. He couldn't really control Yasuo. So we'll need to see if CowTard can do the same thing. The difference is, I think the pressure is going to be on the Copenhagen Wolves to initiate. With the Trundle, with the Leona, with the Yasuo, they want to go in and find those kills. I feel like Millenium have got tools to deal with that. Dragon's Rage kick. If they get some poke from Ziggs, land a death sentence, they can find kills. So a little more passive play, I feel, from Millenium.
Well, the players have picked their champion, so let's see who you guys think are going to win this game. Going to lolesports.com, 62% of you voted for Millenium. It's been a while since you guys voted for Millenium.
It has, and you know, Millenium won yesterday, Wolves lost. We'll see if they can come out swinging. I think their team comp has all of the tools they need to beat Millenium if they don't fall behind. Because the moment you fall behind against a Leona, against a Trundle, against a Yasuo, they can just constantly throw themselves at you, constantly get in your face. And of course, Trundle, he can decide to build damage early, wait for Shyvana to go Dragon's Descent, and then subjugate and steal a tank stat. So we'll see if YoungBuck opts to go that route as well.
Well, we are going to be getting into game. It's the Copenhagen Wolves taking on Millenium. Millenium looking to keep their undefeated record in check here. Possible 3-0 for them in a solidifying position, or solidifying their position at the top of the table if they can win this one. For the Wolves, still looking, though, with their new lineup for the first win of the season. And
at level 1, Kevin has opted to go for the Scrying Orb once again. They did this yesterday. It didn't necessarily net a massive amount of control, but as I said, I like it. I think Millenium are the team that has adapted to this early trinket changes the best, even though they've used the same strategy twice, but nevertheless.
Sat inside the river right now, and they've just spotted someone going in there, and Millenium are in fact just going to be moving away. But they're a team that, as we said before, have had the interesting level 1 strategies. Looks like Kevin might throw down that Scrying Orb here into the Tribush, and then they'll look for a hook coming out of Jree from the Dragon Pit as well. But they've actually all been spotted here because of that ward that Copenhagen Wolves put down a little bit earlier on. There's the Scrying Orb.
Very, very smart ward that was placed in the river. Had it been shallower, the route that Millenium were running to the right-hand side of the river was to try and stay outside of the vision range, because that's a very unusual ward. It's a very non-traditional ward placement. So I really like that Copenhagen Wolves had a defensive line of wards. It gave them a lot of information. It meant that they didn't get invaded. And of course, Millenium come away, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So got that yellow trinket picked up, and it looks like Millenium have been the ones that have initiated the lane swap. So gonna try and use that ranged duo of Lucian Thresh to get a better advantage than that of Graves Leona.
Well, at the start, Trundle may be able to get a little bit of initial farm as CowTard going aggressive already here onto Kerp at level 1, but that's the thing, even at level 1, Ziggs is going to throw a whole lot of pain straight back in your face. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch, because I think CowTard is a master of Yasuo, Kerp is a master of Ziggs. And if CowTard can get some knockups and you know, sweeping blades down, there is the possibility to get a little bit of control. But of course, the cooldown on that wind wall when he eventually skills it up is very, very high. So he's got to be very aware of when he opts to use that to block Kerp's bouncing bombs. See that shield as it generates in there, just getting popped every single time by Kerp, and CowTard actually going really low. Already used his single pop there with that Doran's Blade Star, and that's not a good sign for him overall. It's going to give Kerp a lot of comfort, though, at least in this mid lane from Millenium's side. See that Kevin there just running around the jungle as we expected, since we do have these 2v1s in operation, these lane swaps.
4v0s, but it is a non-standard one. What we're seeing from this swap is that the jungler and top laner did the buddy system. They were farming up camps together. Kevin and Kottenx, I think, did it a little better early because they got more levels out of the deal. You can also see that Copenhagen Wolves have gotten further ahead because of their positional play. 4 members on this bottom tower. It does have damage reduction now on 4.7, 30 DR versus champion attacks, which is higher than previously. But great start. Copenhagen Wolves again showing their early game, their lane swaps, and their strategic macro level play is, I'm going to call it, the best in Europe. They instantly have gotten ahead, and Millenium are going to take a much longer time to get this tower. There's only 3 members there.
Seems like we've got some Copenhagen Wolves fans in the house today as well, cheering for that first tower going down in their favor, and now already pushing on towards the inner turret. Is CowTard going to go aggressive here onto Kerp? Wind wall does go down, but it's all going to be about harassment here, not going fully all in on that one.
No, the knockup didn't actually throw Kerp up into the air, even though CowTard did his little spin and dance, and Copenhagen Wolves back away, so they get control of that bottom lane. They have not standardized their placements just yet. YoungBuck taking a big punishing, but again, Copenhagen Wolves just a very good start. They've opened up the bottom half of the map. They've given Woolite and Unlimited some tools to move around. But as it stands, neither Unlimited nor Jree have got a lot of usage out of those relic shields. They haven't begun stacking up the gold, so a little bit of missed opportunities thanks to the way the lanes have played out.
Oh, here comes the push around from Millenium. Where is the hook going to land there? Is Rubber Ducky knocking him up in the air, but in the end, CowTard getting the knock up even onto Kottenx in the end. Kerp had no mana left either way, and CowTard will be safe in this mid lane. So, what are Millenium going to do now? Getting a couple of deep wards already in here, one over by that wolf count, and they're going to come back around for CowTard, who's decided going to have to head south. Actually, great knock up there, landing on both players. Yeah,
and he had his wind wall available as well, so it was always going to be difficult to actually make that gank land. I quite like the decision from Millenium. They basically baited CowTard to stick around because Kerp had no mana. And it's like, well, who's going to gank that? And it does appear they tried, but it does not give them any advantage yet. So Copenhagen Wolves, they have now set their dual lane to the bottom, and it looks like Millenium are going to maintain this 2v1 in the top, and Airwaks just going to defend, just going to hold on. One of the things you do against Evelyn is go for those lane swaps, because you can force your opponent jungler's hand, and that's exactly what Airwaks is busy doing. He's going to go in on Creaton, he's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, already spotted from that one, and they're going to chase in. There's the pillar. Creaton saving his dodge away from that one until the right time, and actually coming back in now as he realizes that Airwaks is going to be backing away and even getting some nice damage onto YoungBuck as he goes. Meanwhile, Kottenx, knowing that Evelyn is on the top side of the map, says, thank you very much, I'm going to have a bit of your jungle away. So
this is something that the Wolves did yesterday against Alliance. They got ahead, they got an objective, and then they basically stalled, I think is the best way to explain it. And they gave their opponents chances to bring themselves back in the game. Millenium, if they keep up this pressure, if they keep up this 2v1 situation, they should be able to get the top lane tower, which may then allow Jree and Creaton to move to the bottom lane and go for the 2v2 matchup. We'll see if that is how they play it out, because it definitely looks to be the case. So I would like to see maybe some more interaction, maybe some rotations. See if Woolite and Limited want to defend, 2v2 and push out the top lane. Try and put YoungBuck to defend bottom. But we'll have to see what they decide. It does look like Creaton is just focusing the tower rather than looking for tower dives or kills.
Yeah, especially once Airwaks just appears out of nowhere. Knock up too late there from CowTard. I mean, trying to stop Kerp from recalling doesn't work. One thing we didn't touch on is some of the spells here actually in this mid lane. Kerp running with the flash and heal compared to the flash ignite that we're seeing for CowTard. Both supports actually running exhaust this time around. We've seen a couple of variations of that. Some support players really preferring to go with the ignite for that extra damage.
Yeah, I think, when you're dealing with an assassin like a Yasuo, an exhaust should be a compulsory pick. The moment he jumps in, you can really reduce a lot of the damage. And of course, there's 2 heals. We'll get to that in a second. Jree's in trouble.
Jree's in a lot of trouble. Good play, but YoungBuck coming around. Actually, YoungBuck taking a lot of damage. There's all coming in. Jree going to flash off to the side. Have they got enough damage here to finish off YoungBuck? Jree comes back in, and he's going to go down. Costly error there, I feel, for Millenium.
Yeah, very, very big mistake. Jree, I think, should not have come back into that one. It's not over yet because they're looking for Kerp.
Oh, will they be able to lock him down? Leona coming in. We are going to be seeing Graves entering the party as well. Zenith Blade is going to let Kerp down to less than half. He can't see anything inside the smoke screen, and he goes down 2-0 the Wolves.
That was fantastic. Mid-flight, as Kerp was flying with a satchel charge, Unlimited smacked him with the shield, brought him back down to earth and stunned him. That was very well played by Copenhagen Wolves. They grabbed themselves a kill in the mid lane thanks to a good gank, and because I think Jree and Creaton got a little excited in the top lane, they gave up another kill. Wolves are on Dragon. It shouldn't be stolen. Kottenx and Kevin, they're going to try to come in. Not this time. So Copenhagen Wolves again. Early kills, early Dragon, early tower, early game. It's all about them.
Wolves looking very, very good. granted, as they did yesterday against Alliance when it came to the first 15 minutes or so of the game. We'll see if they can keep it up this time around. Right now, they've got a big team actually in that mid lane. Are they going to go top? Creaton's actually pushed quite heavily up, and Jree maybe getting himself caught out once again. Can they get onto him? CowTard throws down the ward, a second ward as well. I talked about that yesterday, that 2 wards are always safer than 1, whichever way you look at it. And now Jree coming back around with that one. He's got Kottenx's help. Actually, Creaton coming in from the side. There's the ulti coming out. Airwaks going low. Some of the heal going to be used there. And Airwaks, is he going to fall? Yes, he does. Kottenx gets that kill, but Kottenx will go straight down afterwards. Meanwhile, YoungBuck coming in from the side there, unlimited there as well, but CowTard's being caught out. Creaton picks up that kill.
So Yasuo was able to get a multi-man knockup, which prevented the rest of Millenium chasing. Even though CowTard was stuck and very, very deep, he did a pretty good job of holding the rest of the team back. A good flank maneuver by Kevin, thanks to his teleport, allows him to obviously net more presence in this mid lane. And now Millenium, they've got something back on the board. Copenhagen Wolves may be too aggressive. This was something we talked about yesterday. They got control, they were pushing, and then they played a bit passively. This was a little, maybe, over-aggressive, trying to chase Jree. That's what started it all off. And I think Millenium pretty good to respond, but they are still playing from behind.
I have to say, Creaton is looking like a comfortable... I mean, he's a different animal to what we were used to seeing of him in the spring split. We've seen how far up this lane he's been this entire time. That last fight coming in all the way from behind the enemy team. Really seems to be playing with confidence here. He's going to take the first tower of the game there for Millenium as well.
And that's going to just close the gold right back up. The Dragon's the only thing that separates these teams right now. So Millenium holding on, not falling behind. This is the first game we've seen this week where they haven't been in the lead in the laning phase, but they're by no means out of it. Kottenx is about to find Airwaks, so this is going to be a 2-on-2 situation. You'll notice Creaton still hasn't lane swapped. Even though Millenium got that tower down in the top lane, Creaton's made no notion of recalling or moving elsewhere. It could be because the minion wave is right in his grill, but I want to see how they set up. It looks like Kevin is just killing off Barry White down the bottom half of the map. He's going to get back into lane and push it out.
I'm not sold on this naming convention yet.
Come on, Larry and Barry.
I think I'll leave you to that one. Creaton, however, despite all this time on his own in this top lane, behind by about 10 CS here over Woolite, who incidentally is headed up towards his top lane now. So they'll be facing off in a 80 carry 1v1 lane at this point of things. Good few wards down in the top side of jungle here as well, it's worth noting, for Millenium. That's of course not going to spot Airwaks though. Invisible Evelyn again stalking towards his top side, but good point in the game, I think, for Creaton overall to actually recall that and make sure he stays out of danger. That's good reactions from CowTard.
It is. Manages to allow him to clear out the pink ward unscathed. Takes no additional damage. And Copenhagen Wolves now, you know, I think they've got a team that can do quite well split pushing. Trundle and Leona are so strong to engage and disengage. Jree is just so unlucky this game. He keeps finding the Wolves. They seem to have his scent and can follow him around absolutely everywhere. But to get back to the point, Leona and Trundle can do well at defending. And we'll see if Jree is again caught out.
Solar Flare actually missing from that one. I say missing, but it was a flash away from Jree. There's the ultimate on Woolite though. But here comes the culling back in. Airwaks gonna take a lot of damage. And it's Creaton that finishes up. Meanwhile, Woolite sanking up the tower. Unlimited gets a stun off. But Woolite very, very low. Here comes Kerp from the side as well. They're gonna get Unlimited. It's Kerp that finds that kill. Question is, can he keep chasing? Oh, he dodged into that one by the end there. And now the chase continues. Dodges away from that one. Kerp pretty much going to have one more opportunity, and he lands it. The final bomb gets him the kill.
You asked the question in Picks and Bans. Giving Kerp Ziggs, is it a mistake? And the answer is yes. He's got himself in a very good position again. Tier of the God is built up, so he's going to be spamming. You're going to have the ability to spam a massive amount. He's already got a needlessly large rod, so all of those bombs are hurting. And Copenhagen Wolves, again, with an over-aggressive play. They were trying to dive to their top lane, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. YoungBuck now zoned out. He's got 3 members of Millenium chasing down. We'll see if he goes out. He's got a good speed boost.
Yeah, speeding himself away from that one before Kottenx could get behind him, land the kick and knock him into the rest of the Millenium team that were chasing down. This mid lane actually took a lot of damage onto the tower there. Kerp, of course, after wandering up to that top lane to find himself a couple of kills, blasting one now added into the needlessly large rod that you mentioned just a couple of moments ago. So very, very painful if Kerp gets on.
And Kerp's gonna be able to. You know, his bouncing bombs have been very accurate in the last few days. I particularly like his interaction with satchel charges. He really pushes you where he wants you to be. And, you know, looking at some of the other items, we touched on the ability of YoungBuck to go for a Blade of the Rune King as a first item on Trundle, and then just steal those defensive stats away from Kevin in Dragonfall. And that's the exact route he's gone. He hasn't been able to find Kevin in a 1v1 yet. Kevin's done a pretty good job of staying in that bottom lane and countering him until this exact second, because he's recalled and now he's moving top. So we'll see how well Kevin can do with a completed Sunfire Cape against the makings of that Blade of the Rune King. Teleports for both top laners available because Dragon is respawning right now. There are some wards in play, and Millenium got superior positioning. If Millenium get poked with Ziggs, it should be their Dragon. If Millenium get engaged upon very quickly and get caught out by Yasuo and Leona, it'll be Copenhagen Wolves Dragon.
It looks like the Wolves may have just bullied Millenium away from this one. Kevin in that top side, as you mentioned, walked up there, didn't use teleport, so he should be getting more should he need to. YoungBuck is already down there. Millenium are going to be too slow to get to this one. Oh, bomb coming in! No, not enough though. Copenhagen Wolves get that one. There's a knockup. Yasuo going right into them. Kerp's going to go low. Surely will be finished off here. Does finally get finished off by Woolite, but they're cleaning up. The Wolves have lost 4 men. Woolite's trying to run away from it, which I think he'll manage here with that tower still up in the mid lane, but the Wolves do the Dragon, start off the fight, and get absolutely mullered.
After all of the praise we gave to CowTard and his Yasuo, he only caught Kottenx with that last breath. Millenium just had better positioning, they got more damage down on the right targets, and there was no frontline for Copenhagen Wolves. They just got melted too quickly. Millenium grabbed themselves a tower in the mid lane as well as all those kills, and now they are in charge of the gold and control. Take a look at the focus from Millenium. It's really, really impressive. YoungBuck's locked down. He's got nothing to do. And Woolite and CowTard, the two squishiest targets right in the middle of Millenium. So there's your mid laner down. The rest of Millenium is like, oh, right, what's up, Graves? You've got no one to protect you and save you. So the Millenium death ball just rolls over everything.
Just a lot of damage coming out of seemingly nowhere, I think, from that one. They didn't expect it, I think, the Wolves going in. It's
a lot of AoE. I mean, you've got to remember, when Kevin's got in there, his Burnout and Dragon Form, it's all AoE damage. Ziggs bouncing bombs, all AoE damage. So it's just very tight, confined spaces. You throw yourselves in there, and the Wolves are just going to get melted.
Creaton's basically AoE when you're that grouped up as well in there as well. So really, really nice play out of Millenium. 9-5 in the leading kills. Just 500 or so gold they lead overall. Jree this time not going to get found as he takes down the wall. That'll be a welcome. I spoke too soon, didn't I?
You did a little. Unfortunately, Copenhagen Wolves have, you know, learned their lesson. The third or the fourth or the fifth time they found Jree, they decided not to chase, because every time previously it's cost them. I actually think every time the Copenhagen Wolves have started an engagement, it has gone against them. It has not worked out. Creaton's low. CowTard used his ulti, but he didn't get a kill. We'll see if CowTard can chase him down. He's going to try.
Cullen used for about 2 or 3 hits there as Creaton here going to sit himself in the bush, but pulled completely out of position there. Airwaks it was that was able to pick up that kill. So nice little fly. Kottenx coming in! He's kicked Airwaks into the tower. Don't think there's enough damage from the tower itself. Mega Inferno Bomb is available. Ziggs walking to the top. Can Kerp land it? Will Kerp even go for it here? No.
Oh, and you know what? The observers were so ready to follow that bomb had it been thrown. I don't even know if you can actually, but unfortunately Kerp gonna hold on to the Mega Inferno Bomb, doesn't go for the kill. It's so unfortunate for Creaton. He was trying to get away from CowTard, but of course when you've got that Yasuo, your sweeping blade on your E's on such a low cooldown, you can just dash through the minion wave. So he closed all of the distance, got himself onto Creaton, and gave Creaton his first death of the game. So Copenhagen Wolves holding even. They've got some split pushing power with the Yasuo, with the Trundle. Teleport is available for YoungBuck. So we'll see how they try to control the map, because CowTard, for the last few minutes, has been dedicating this top lane. He has been pushing it up, trying to get onto this top lane tower, because he's got very good wave clear and a lot of mobility.
As he did against Alliance as well. We have to point that out in the game yesterday where he played this Yasuo, going for the same build as well, did this yesterday, stack shift, picks himself up Berserker Greaves as Kerp. Gonna come up here, try and have a go at CowTard. He's gonna throw his ulti in there, but they're gonna lose this tower, and now CowTard gonna turn around, have a go at Kerp. He's got the ignite down, the bouncing bomb bounces to nowhere. Jree, you're out of position there, my friend. Pillar comes down, hook goes wide.
That was very, very close. If CowTard didn't have that movement speed from the static shiv, I think that would have connected. Regardless, Wolves grab themselves the second tower. Creaton gets away from the solar flare, but thanks to the culling, has defended the mid outer turret. So Millenium still hold on to the tower lead and a little bit of control around the mid-river entrances to their jungle thanks to the tower. And we'll just see, where CowTard goes. His split pushing will determine if the Copenhagen Wolves can get in control of the game.
Kevin is the one that has to go up there to really handle him, and I think my question's already been answered. Kevin's somewhere down on the Copenhagen Wolves side of the map. There's the ulti coming in. Here comes Airwaks. Kevin has taken a little bit more than he can do, but he gets the kill anyway. He's now on the killing spree, and he's going to try and speed away. Flash over from Airwaks, shuts him down.
Too much armor on the side of Kevin and not enough attack damage for CowTard. You'll see from him going back, he's just finished that Blade of the Ruined King. Instantly. He was sitting on all of that gold from a Vamp Scepter to a Blade of the Ruined King. Had the blade been completed, I think he would have come out in a much better position. Maybe even got some kill pressure on Kevin. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. And Kevin 3-1-1, back to spring split levels of play. You know, Kevin was always, I think he was the most underrated top laner of the spring split here in Europe, and he very, very seldom has bad games. He's off to a great start here today.
I think Kevin's been underrated since he really made his mark on the pro scene all the way back at the Season 1 finals, you know, when he was playing back there. So I feel a little sorry sometimes for Kevin because he kind of flies under the radar, as do a lot of top laners, actually. I mean, the likes of YoungBuck, you can definitely argue that he's an underrated player as well. Right now, we see Millenium close in, cheeky steal.
Kerp is just on fire with his Ziggs. I think when you look at the comps, you'll notice Copenhagen Wolves are the one that have been aggressive. They've been getting in the face of Millenium, and it's backfired multiple times. But it's because their composition has to. They have to jump in with Leone. They have to jump in with Yasuo. That's how they create the ability to get towers. Copenhagen Wolves don't have a strong siege team at all, whereas Millenium do. Millenium have been caught.
Oh, Kevin out of position from this one, takes the lantern away though. And the Copenhagen Wolves instantly just step back a little bit. Dragon available, look down the sides there, you see ultimates are available for this fight, at least on one side of the map. Airwaks the one that's used his, of course the solar flare was used just moments ago by Unlimited as well. That may come into play in this one. Kevin fancies his chances here. Gonna bully Airwaks away completely. Kottenx in the middle of them. They are gonna go for the fight. Here comes the Ziggs ulti. He's done some great damage. CowTard though, going through the rest of the team, will throw his ulti down, but he'll die straight away afterwards. 2 for 1 so far. Make that a 3 for 1 as Airwaks goes down, and another dragon from Millenium.
Too little, too late. The Copenhagen Wolves needed all of their damage to land at exactly the same time. It wasn't the case. Kerp's Mega Inferno Bomb was brilliant. It hit 3 members of the Wolves, just melted their HP bars, and the point I was making is that the Wolves have to engage. It's what their comp does. So keep your eyes on how good CowTard's last breath is in a moment or two, but the HP bars from the Wolves is just shredded. 3 members of Millenium get knocked up, but it's just, there's not enough burst, there's not enough damage. Had that been a Jinx, Super Mega Death Rocket instead of the collateral damage from Graves, maybe it could have had the kill because it has the execute potential on there. You know, it's a higher damage potential. But unfortunately, that wombo combo didn't work out. And Millenium, they'll just let the Wolves keep coming. Let the Wolves jump onto us. We'll react, we'll respond with, you know, Shyvana knocking them away, Lee Sin knocking them away. And when Millenium is comfortable to siege, when Millenium's comfortable to push Copenhagen Wolves on their side of the map, they will. Because it's so difficult to deal with the Ziggs. So I think for the Wolves to, you know, really stand a chance in this game, they have to pick a fight, win it, and not lose anything, because they haven't been able to do that yet.
When I said another dragon for Millenium, I of course meant their first dragon of the game, because the Copenhagen Wolves did take the first 2, just to make sure we've got that clear. We are seeing a couple more items coming out. Trinity Force is now complete for Creaton. If you look at Kerp, that death cap, which is been done for a while there, and of course still stacking up the tier. Here's that split push once again. CowTard doing a lot of damage to that turret. Airwaks is going to come in as well. Kevin can't hold on to it.
Not at all. The game rests on CowTard's shoulders because he can actually force Millenium's hand, force Millenium to react to him, and if CowTard is able to pull threat towards him and open up other towers to the Wolves, that's when they're in a good position. So Kevin is being jumped on, and this is the damage from CowTard.
Oh, and Airwaks is there as well. This is bad news. He's going to use his ultimate to try and get back towards base. Randuin's comes out with a knock-up as well. Will it be enough, Kevin? No, he speeds away.
Absolutely everything thrown away from Kevin. The Randuins, the Flash, the Dragon's Descent, and he still almost went down. So this is already scary. Kevin can no longer 1v1 CowTard. CowTard had that Blade of the Rune King. It was the question we said earlier. If he had the Blade, could he have won? That is a very clear yes. Because the previous engage, Kevin didn't even have the Randuins. Once CowTard continues to spend money and get maybe a Lost Whisper built up or work his way towards the Infinity Edge, he's going to become even more scary because the front line of Millenium can't stop him. The only risk is if Copenhagen Wolves commit to a fight and CowTard jumps in too deep without killing people, like we see at the Dragon fight, then he's going to die. They've called Kevin.
Kevin going into the jungle all alone. I say all alone. The rest of Millenium actually moving pretty quickly around from this one. Kottenx going to get off to the ward there. Good knock-up out from CowTard, though. Prevents them from chasing through.
Yeah, so Kevin, realizing he had the support of his team, decided to chase in there. But Millenium have lost control of the jungle. The last few buffs have gone the way of the Copenhagen Wolves. You know, they've just stolen that blue. If you look at the vision, I mean, it's just such a disparity between the Wolves and Millenium as far as wards and vision is concerned. So I'd really like that the Wolves are doing it, but they have to, because their team relies on safe and secure split pushing. And if CowTard has the information to work with, he can obviously stay deep in Millenium territory for longer. So the moment those wards time out, Copenhagen Wolves will go back to playing passive.
Turret of Millenium is still standing on that mid lane despite the pressure that's been put onto it a couple of times. CowTard continues his push on the top side. YoungBuck has now gone to start working the top lane as well. It's Kerp that actually has been tasked with coming back around from that one. Kerp is level 15 at this point, the highest in the game, just to keep that one in mind. Going to be doing a lot of damage if you catch the wrong side of him.
We'll have to see, you know, I'm wondering at what point, wow, very brave. CowTard really didn't want to run the risk. He didn't know where anybody else was. So there are some dark spots on the map as far as Millenium's concerned. And CowTard, I think, probably playing safe is the smart choice. But I think, you know, for me, the real question is at what point do Millenium feel confident or comfortable trying to siege? At what point do they say, now we can do it? Because Seraph's Embrace has been completed by Kerp. He's got a death cap. I assume he's working towards a Void Staff as his next item. Maybe that's going to be the point. Once Kerp has got his Void Staff up and says, right, now we can go siege, now we can play the tower game. Because Millenium have really just been playing reactively this entire match. This entire match has really been them going, we'll wait for you to engage or we'll punish you when you engage poorly.
It's actually just coming through there. Was spotted as he put a pink ward down, and the ward, unfortunately for him, not going to be available to take down. Just timed out right in front of his nose. Millenium still holding on to this middle lane. Bit of a quiet period, but you expect that to change pretty soon because you've got 45 seconds until the next dragon actually comes into play, and that's surely going to be a big point as we are going to see the teleport coming in from the side. YoungBuck is coming in, Kevin is coming in as well, the pillar actually coming down there, they've hooked in Airwaks. This is a messy fight so far, and actually Airwaks going to have to flash away. Kevin diving right into the middle of the team, he's going to penetrate with his life. What an ulti coming out of CowTard. Kottenx, he will fall as well, and this is a whitewash for the Copenhagen Wolves.
That was a fantastic play from the Wolves. They managed to stay grouped up, and even though Kevin got a lantern out to sort of re-engage, it simply wasn't enough. The Copenhagen Wolves were just so well grouped and so well together. Take a look at the end of the fight from Yasuo, but the key here for me, Jree with the 4-4, he's got a good lantern in place. Kevin goes back out, and the feeling is, look, if Kevin pushes everyone into the Mega Inferno Bomb, that damage could be enough. But for the first time, I think, all weekend, look at this Mega Inferno Bomb. It only catches Unlimited. And this is where the last breath just connects and melts through Millenium. So a very good team fight. The first of the game that has been convincing for the Wolves.
So, Dragon has now spawned after that little fight. Creaton actually going to walk out there. YoungBuck and Unlimited are waiting, and they're trying to force him away. Pillar comes down from YoungBuck. Leaves Millenium in the river. The Wolves, though, already starting to regroup on this one. The hook doesn't connect from Jree. That gives the Wolves the better positioning, but they seem to be a bit nervous about it themselves.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves haven't been able to properly get position on this Dragon. They actually were hesitant. They could have started, decided against it. So it's allowed Millenium to get onto the Dragon first. They will secure it very quickly. Wolves should be trading Dragon for tower, and I think the Wolves will be quite happy with that. You know, the Dragon will respawn, they can challenge later, and the smarter play, the safer play, was to just trade objectives.
50-50 on the Dragons, 2 for the Wolves, 2 for Millenium. Now in a row. The Wolves, however, have started to get some good vision down inside the Millennium's jungle, and even going about stealing that away. Certainly on the bottom side of the map. Look at the towers here that are open for Millennium's taking. All outer towers are down, so they've got to go deeper into the map if they want to get any more objectives here. The Wolves have held them past the halfway line for a long time now. Yeah,
the Wolves have had complete control of Millennium's jungle. They've been out-CSing their AD carry by a massive margin. Creaton is down 70 CS, or 80 CS at this point. Woolite at 29 minutes has 295 CS, so he's keeping up the incredibly high CS numbers of his former team's AD carry Forgiven. So you have to give him props for keeping up in that regard. He's 4-2-4 on this Graves. Graves is a champion that I know there's a lot of talk about, at least upstairs with us in the caster room, about whether we like or dislike the pick. But it seems to be doing okay. He does get a lot of tanky stats from his passive, which will help him survive when Shyvana and Lee Sin jump on him. But his burst damage hasn't really been synergizing well enough with CowTard. So it's kind of been a little disjointed in terms of that matchup. You know, he does well against Millenium, but doesn't work as great with his own teammate.
CowTard, as you spoke of him, moving up to that top lane once again to push that one out. It's again Kerp that is the man that has to come across. He's even warding there, so maybe a little bit scared of CowTard by now. If you look down the items there for him, Blade of the Ruin King, Static Shift, Last Wisp, but also got himself another crit cloak there as well. So we'll see him going up towards the Infinity Edge in a little while. But for now, it's the Wolves that constantly, and as they were before, they've now got wards in the top side of the jungle. Not sure about Baron at this point. I don't think the Wolves are a team that are going to really risk that one. They may go for Unlimited, though. He flashes straight out.
So I want to touch on the fact that CowTard has to go Infinity Edge. CowTard cannot afford to build tanky or survivability because he is the only way for the Wolves to really win team fights. If he doesn't blow somebody up and get a lot of damage down in a team fight, Graves is not the strongest at cleaning up afterwards. Trundle, yes, maybe he can, but when you compare that to a Shyvana, a Lee Sin, a Ziggs, and a Lucian, it's going to be very difficult. Another 1v1, Kevin feeling very brave.
And actually going to use his Randuin's here to slow down CowTard and doing some good damage to him. Got him down to half HP already. Here come the rest of the team. Kerp going to be focused down. Airwaks gets that one. CowTard will drop. Airwaks the next target, but Woolite coming in from the side. Good damage in there as a solar flare catches Kevin. He's already inside the brush though. They had no vision.
Yeah, ends up being 2 for 2. A lot of damage being traded back and forth, and because teleport was not available, the TP did not come in from YoungBuck. He was just continuing to push the bottom lane. It all started with CowTard being caught out. So I think, again, it's just the focus from the Wolves. The moment CowTard goes down, it's a difficult position for them to be in. What is good to see is that Kevin, with his Thornmail, and actually that he had the red buff, was beating CowTard. So that's a positive sign for Millenium in terms of preventing and mitigating that split push power.
Continues on that front. Once that Infinity Edge is done for CowTard, added in the BF sword now on top of that cloak of agility from earlier on. So slowly but surely getting himself on the way to that one. Kottenx, he's going to have a recall for himself here as well. So again, we hit a slower part of the game after that little fight. Again, it's been a lot about kind of testing how the land lies here for both of these teams. We saw there CowTard having a little bit of a go at Kevin, realizing, okay, I can't actually kill him now. I'm kind of going to have to try and run away. End up losing out in the fight. We'll see how that develops, as I said, once the further items do come down for Yasuo. One thing's sure though, Dragon coming up in less than 2 minutes time, as has been the trend here, it's going to be a big sticking point.
I also want to highlight that Jree's been a little off point with his death sentences this game. He hasn't been hitting as many as we have come to expect. And, you know, Copenhagen Wolves, they're just, it's a tried and true. They've called Kevin, well, annoyed Kevin is the word I'm looking for. Prevented him recalling, and because of the fact that YoungBuck is pushing the bottom lane, CowTard's pushing the top lane, Millenium are just going for a 5v3. Teleport's been used, so tower, they've called Kerp.
Oh, Solar Flare coming out. Kerp does manage to jump away from things though. Yasuo has now backed off as well as the hook comes in. The Inferno Bomb comes down as well, but
CowTard from behind. This could be scary for Millenium.
They've managed to get in there. They've seen CowTard actually coming around there, so they know that he's on his way down there. Is he going to get into position? He's kicked and played back. Does get his ultimate off, but will drop straight away afterwards. Airwaks bounced around there, and YoungBuck as well. Both of them very, very low. Kevin looking for the kill. Does get the kill to go back on the killing spree. He's 7-2-3. I didn't notice he got that many kills up until now, but that's a 2-for-1 in the end. Millenium might have it in him.
Even with Yasuo getting onto Creaton and Lucian, it wasn't enough to get the kill. Because of the fact that Copenhagen Wolves didn't blow somebody up instantly, Millenium clean house. Their composition is just stronger at that. It's going to allow Millenium to get this inhibitor. And CowTard, I have to question, was going for the Wraith Camp the best? We do see now Copenhagen Wolves on the aggressive.
Oh, going in good damage. Woolite goes a little bit too far though, and Kerp turned around, killed him before actually being taken down himself. Airwaks continues to chase, and why not? Creaton's low. Kottenx is low. Kevin is, well, he's at half HP, which is still about 5 million health. So he's not that low whatsoever. Let's have another look at that one.
Yeah, so CowTard's going to get the last breath, and it'll just connect onto the side there of I lied, it's Jree and Creaton that actually get caught out. But Kottenx untouched, Kevin untouched, Kerp is now no longer in danger. He's out of the threat zone from the Copenhagen Wolves, and the Pillar of Ice from YoungBuck actually served to protect him in that particular instance. So the one thing that is interesting to note is that Kerp and Creaton have found ways to stay on the outskirts, have found ways to stay on the outside, and because Copenhagen Wolves have no other means of knocking up Millenium, it just means CowTard is getting these sort of suboptimal ultimates, although, you know, 2-2 is not the worst case scenario in that situation.
Better than one, not quite as good as
Touché.
Dragon going down here for the Wolves. That'll be their third of 5 so far in this game. Still leaves them behind in gold, technically. Just 1,000 though at this point. That's really nothing 36 minutes into a match.
It's so weird because it feels like Millenium are just in control of this game. It feels like they are dictating the pace and, you know, they're winning all these team fights, but they're only 3 kills ahead. They're even on towers. They're 1,000 gold. Yes, they have super minions in the middle lane, so now the map will finally be more in favor of Millenium. But they haven't actually built up an advantage. They haven't built up a lead. So when you start getting to this stage of the game, whichever team has one very bad team fight ends up losing the match. So there is just so much more importance on picking the right engagement and executing to ensure you actually come out victorious. It looks like the Copenhagen Wolves are going to be challenging. Blue buff secured by Airwaks. He managed to get there with the auto. Actually, I think it went to Kottenx.
Yeah,
cooldowns. Yeah, so Kottenx secures that one. But it's not a Kerp, so that's very important. No cooldown reduction, no mana regen.
Oh, CowTard getting caught out. Someone actually flashes away there. Jree already winding up the death sentence. I think a wise, cautious flash there coming out of CowTard. Millenium actually posturing over towards the Baron side of the map. Do they want to try and drag them into that fight, or are they just going to go for the turret here? That's a good pillar. It's going to slow Millenium getting into position from this one, the annoyance of the tunnel, but they've got a big wave coming in. They should be able to have this turret away.
Yeah, they should be able to. This is not the strongest of wave player from the Wolves. Unlimited wants this. Look for the Solar Flare. But again, there's not multiple knockouts. So CowTard has just used his Steel Tempest. He'll need to charge it back up before he can throw it down. Infinity Edges have been completed for both CowTard and Woolite. So there is a lot of damage on those two champions. And if Woolite can get multiple auto attacks off in a fight, that's going to go a long way to helping him out. But Kevin and Kottenx, Randian's Omen, Sunfire Cape, Thornmail's completed. They're very tanky, they're very beefy. They can survive against that physical threat.
Coming up from the backside and actually gets a great ultimate off there. Kerp will throw his back. Kerp though, gonna get locked up. Finished off in the end by Unlimited. Creaton as well. Focus down at the backside. Woolite a little bit out of position, but the rest of his team coming around. And the Copenhagen Wolves gonna wipe the floor with Millenium, take the A's, and they're gonna get an easy Baron now.
That was the most perfect engage that the Copenhagen Wolves could ask for. Whenever you have an Evelyn, you want to flank. You want to come in from an unexpected side. Look at the massive shield that Airwaks is going to pick up. That's 600 or 700 hit points worth of shield. Mega Inferno Bomb hits the tanky members of the team. Copenhagen Wolves are not bothered by that one. And as you called out during the fight, Joe, Kerp goes down. He doesn't get more than one bomb off, and a Mega Inferno Bomb is just not enough. Perfect team fight from Copenhagen Wolves, and it secures them the Baron, secures them towers, and obviously all of those kills. They
actually, because of all that, funnily enough, lost a Nexus turret there, did the Copenhagen Wolves in that little fight. The super minions pushing through into the main base, so gotta be a little bit cautious about that one, although the inhibitor has now respawned, so should give him a little bit of respite, and shouldn't be too scared of Kevin just being a little bit sneaky with his teleport and going straight in there to try and finish off that second one. So he can certainly tank up those turrets at this stage of the game. But that leaves the Copenhagen Wolves now a good chunk ahead in gold. Still be a little bit behind on the turrets. They've got a lot of gold to spend after that ace and the Baron pick up as well. And probably going to give them a little bit of confidence here, because it was Millenium that was doing so well in those team fights. To have an ace like that for the Wolves, a perfect ace as well, didn't lose a single man, will be a real confidence booster.
It is a confidence booster, but it's still scary for Copenhagen Wolves. You can't deny the fact that that was their first really clean, really dominant team fight in a 14-minute game. You know, every team fight previously to that, it has been messy, it has been sloppy. You've got 20 kills for the Wolves to 18 kills for Millenium. So if Copenhagen Wolves can repeat that process, yes, great. They'll maybe get an inhibitor and can look for a win. But now Millenium, they are much less likely to be flanked because they're sitting in their base. They're not pushing past inhibitor turrets. So Airwaks' opportunities for flanking and for coming in from the side or from behind are now non-existent. So Copenhagen Wolves have to find a different way to start off the exact same engage.
Speaking of the flank, we have CowTard once again on the top side of the map. They're actually going to have a go at Kevin here, but that's a lot of damage back from Kerp. Throws out the Mega Inferno Bomb. YoungBuck, in the meantime, has pushed up onto the bottom lane as well, and they've been pressed from all sides here, Millenium.
Yeah, it's very important that the Mega Inferno Bomb is down. It's just over 70 seconds before it's available again. So every time Copenhagen Wolves can force Kerp to use his ultimate to defend their wave, it just allows them to pick a fight around that. You know, you've got that window where the damage isn't going to come down. When Creaton is forced to use the culling to defend a wave, it's going to be the same position. Try to get them to use both at the same time and then look for the team fight. CowTard also has that Guardian Angel, so if he wants to tower dive or wants to go in aggressive, if the rest of the team backs him up, he can come back, sustain a little bit thanks to that Blade of the Rune King, and get more damage down.
Surely gonna fall or not, because Millenium side once again rotate around quick enough to stop that two-man push from coming through. We still have Yasuo on the top lane, was left a little bit alone, but his minion wave has now gone there as well. Lost about a third of its health, that top turret. Middle turret is down to about half, and while it's slow, it's slowly but surely here for the Wolves.
1-3-1, the split push composition with the Yasuo and the Trundle. Creaton's getting forced away. Culling wasn't used though. Kottenx trying to find something up. Copenhagen Wolves are just going to keep applying this pressure. They've got Baron for the regen. They can afford to take 1-2 turret hits and then back away because Millenium's engage is risky. They got Jree.
Oh, going on to Jree. Ulti comes out there. Woolite picks up a kill, but they've been knocked back towards the turret. Dashing away from that one. Good move from the Copenhagen Wolves. It's 5v4. Makes defending real hard for Millenium now.
Especially not having the box. That is so crucial for Millenium to prevent and control Copenhagen Wolves from just running them down. There's no minions. They're going in.
Going straight in for that one. The bomb goes on the backside and they all dodged out of that one. The first turret going down. Will that open the floodgates here for the Copenhagen Wolves? Some good damage there from Kerp on towards Woolite at the back. He's at half HP, as is Airwaks, as is Unlimited. CowTard not exactly healthy himself, but they're going to stick around. They take the inhib.
So eventually Copenhagen Wolves play to their comp, play to their team fight strength. They split push with both their mid and their top laner and just chipped away until they were able to break off a piece of Millenium's base big enough to secure the inhibitor. What it does mean now is Copenhagen Wolves can just pick one of the other lanes and force it down, wait for super minions, and just, you know, play it by the numbers like we always say. You know, wait for somebody from Millenium to deal with the wave and then push under them. Even against the Ziggs, even against the wave clear of Ziggs, that was a very, very good siege from the Wolves.
Dragon going down as well. And a lot of gold to spend there. 3,000 gold for YoungBuck, 2,000 for CowTard. I believe the Airwaks has just spent up there. Yep, he's got himself a Zephyr now added in. So full build there for Woolite on Grey. 7-3-10. Only one beating him on score, funnily enough. 8-5-11 on Airwaks. The two new boys here on the Copenhagen Wolves doing real well.
They are keeping up with the traditions. If you looked at Amazing in the last split, he had a large portion of Copenhagen Wolves' kills and was very instrumental in securing them to help carry. We're seeing that from Airwaks. Similar situation from Woolite. Copenhagen Wolves on the aggressive. Look for Unlimited to start with a solar flare. That was a little bit brave. And again, just the CS. 43 minutes on the clock, 436 CS under his name. Not only has Woolite got the CS, but I felt like he's been with the team at the crucial points. He's been where and where he was needed at all stages of the game. And I do feel Forgiven was a little more side lane focused, a little more, I will get there when I have 300 CS. So I think Woolite is doing a very, very good job in his second game here on the big stage.
Airwaks just stalking through the Millenium jungle right now, looking for an opening and trying to keep his eyes out. Jree throws down a ward there that will spot the paint ward. Was just put down by the Copenhagen Wolves, and looks like their focus is going to be on to this top side of the map. One thing I give credit to Millenium for, though, they've pushed that middle wave right out to the halfway point. Of course, with the inhibitor being down, those 6 minutes are going to slowly but surely push it back in their way, in their direction, in their favor. But here we go, Millenium looking for an opportunity. They managed to knock Woolite against the wall, but not enough damage to finish.
Everything else missed. Sonic Wave didn't connect, their sentence didn't connect. So Millenium, this is what we talked about a little while ago. Millenium were happy to wait for Copenhagen Wolves to push them. But in order for Millenium to be in a very strong position, they should be sieging. Their comp does very well if you can force Copenhagen Wolves onto the defensive, force Copenhagen Wolves back and land multiple bombs over and over and over. In this situation, Millenium are using Ziggs to defend, hence the reason we've got this very drawn-out game. You know, 44 minutes is their average game time. This game's already at 45 because of Ziggs. Now, Kottenx is about to face check. He could be in trouble.
Oh, he's got a GA though, but that could be the end of him. Actually kicking CowTard through. Good solar flare to the back, and CowTard gonna go in as well. Face first, does a lot of damage. Jree's low. Kottenx does get his GA popped in that one, but the damage too high for them here. The Copenhagen Wolves slowly working their way through each member. Kerp's gonna die as well. There's the ace. That's gonna be the game for the Wolves.
Very, very convincing team fight for the Copenhagen Wolves. Kottenx tried the best he could to force CowTard in the middle of the fight, but all that did is put CowTard within range of the squishy champions of Millenium. So the Copenhagen Wolves, they bounced back from falling behind. A very good end to the game.
Millenium losing their first game so far this split, and very, very close one. At times wondered if Millenium were really going to be able to grab a hold of this, but it seems like they were doing so well in terms of